is ripping.
My tummy hurts. Pretty good, right back.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick with Off the Chart Trading. I'll be doing tonight's recap for Thursday the 3rd. Wow, I purposely switched it to this just to show. I'm sure obviously by now, if you guys are watching this, you have seen Amazon. Crazy beat. They were expecting to make $3.88 and did $27.75, which was absolutely crazy. Missed on revenue by a little bit, but overall, apparently the street and everybody liked it. At one point up at like $600 almost, which is just, well, from the lows, kind of crazy. So obviously the call's over by now, and it seems to have held the majority of that move. So we'll have to see how it unfolds tomorrow. The other one that was kind of crazy, Snapchat, and it stinks because I was so focused on Amazon. As soon as Charlie alerted, oh, here comes the report for Snap, I switched to in the room, and I even said, I'm like, man, I bet this thing's up. And sure enough, it was like right here, it started just going up. And that was just because it's been so beat down that typically the path of least resistance, when it's already factored in that it could be bad. I mean, the stock ended down almost 25%. So when that happens, normally there is a knee-jerk reaction to the upside. And I think this was their first profitable quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were expected to lose almost 10 cents, and they actually beat 22 cents a share. So that's actually pretty crazy. I think this one's pretty heavily shorted too, I would assume, over the last couple months. So the fact that it's up 55-60% at the highs, if not more, who's to say it doesn't go to 50 by tomorrow, which would be kind of crazy. But we'll have to see how that goes. But definitely one that we're going to keep an eye on in the morning. Trying to think, I think some other ones, but less important ones. I think Pinterest went as well today. Also was up. Yeah, came back a little bit from its high, but another one that's just been beat down. And these moves have just been crazy. I mean, you got the big boys. You got, Facebook dropping like 25%, 26%. Almost 30% of the lows. It's just crazy. The types of moves we're seeing in this market. I don't think I've ever seen, big cap names move like this, whether they're down 20, 30%, up 30%. Now it's all relative. I mean, if you have a stock that's $1 and it goes up 30 cents, it's a 30% move. But when you have companies that are this expensive and have massive market cap, some of them in the trillions, that market share of going up billions and billions of dollars, it's just crazy waves, and it just shows the market conditions we're in right now. The volatility is just, ridiculous, crazy. Like I said, Facebook down 85, almost 88 at the lows. It's just, crazy is the only word I can think of. So more to the point that you either find stuff that you like long term, which is what I've been personally doing, grow stocks that I think will be big over the next 5-10 years, and just buying them because they've all been beat down, or you're day trading this stuff. I'll switch to my internal screen. We took a short yesterday, right after Facebook's announcement. You can see that candle. I mean, obviously it got pretty bad, but I think it was like 410 I got in. And I was, normally there's a knee-jerk reaction with earnings, and I'm like, there's no way, this is going to hold. It's probably going to pop off of some line or something that's positive. And it didn't. It just kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and just seeing this massive candle in the NQ. I think we were almost basically green on the day, and I think we ended up finishing down almost a couple hundred points, which is such a crazy move. So I ended up grabbing Q puts, probably, like I said, maybe 3-4 minutes before the end of the day, just because the fact that it continued to go down. And I actually ended up getting out of them at the open. I put a stop in. I got stopped out and made well over $1 on those. Actually, almost a little. What was it? $2? Yeah, a little over $2 per contract on that move. And we got out pretty close to the lows of the day, so it looked pretty good. And one thing I thought was weird, and I talked about in the room today, was after those earnings and just all that negative sentiment into the markets, we held up really, really well. Almost a few times looking like we were going to break higher. So I thought that was weird. And with the market profile, we were just balancing for like the first almost 3 hours. And then obviously once we broke lower going into the afternoon, you could see that selling picked up. So it's all hindsight. But in this market, I'd rather just have that overnight trade where I'm technically only trading for, what is that? Got out the first probably 2-3 minutes. I got in 2-3 minutes. So maybe a 5-minute trade as far as what the market's open and what you can do. Rather lock that $2 profit per contract in, and I don't want to say call it a day. And there's obviously opportunities. I did make a little on the way down in the micros, just playing around with it, because like with these moves, you don't want to be caught, on this candle, just how you don't want to be shorting and then just boom, because that can undo literally hours of you're slowly making profit, and just in one candle it all gets evaporated. So you just have to be careful. But we were able to pick a little bit of it. But once you can see the candles broke red, get that confirmation and that downtrend, and it was just pretty going out basically at the lows of the day almost. And then obviously Amazon and Snap and all these other ones came through and put us in a little mini rally mode. And here you are, NQ up almost 2% here. The ES up a little over 1%, and then the Dow and the Russell lagging a little bit. But we'll just have to see how this unfolds, because Google was good, everything's good, and then it's just so volatile that you can't really. You want to go long Amazon, you want to go long the Qs, you want to go long some of the specific ETFs like an XLY or something where those particular names are in, and you almost have to refrain from doing it. Could it work? Absolutely, but in these markets, it's just tough. Like I said, that's why I'd rather just focus on that one candle and getting you have a good trade. It is working. It opened up much higher. I was just trying to give it a little wiggle room to see if we were going to drop anymore, and the fact that we didn't. I was thinking that we'd see more of a flush, some pretty serious. I mean, granted, negative 1600, or was that the end of the day? No, that was in the morning. So we did end up having some decent negative ticks, but figuring that there would be sustained pressure to the downside, and we didn't see that. So I was cautiously bullish for the first part of the day, because once again, all that negativity coming in today, you would expect lower prices, and when what should happen doesn't happen, that's when typically. You'll have that reversal, the opposite will play. And it did a couple times. But ultimately halfway through the day, and we've seen this before, just bleeding into the close. And then once again, here we are after hours and having a really nice move up. So be curious to see where we open. Like I said, all the calls, everything else is done. What time is it? Like a little after 7 o'clock now. So I don't think we'll have any other exciting, unless there's some type of geopolitical type of stuff, maybe Russia, Ukraine, or some type of ISIS thing, since we just took out one of their leaders. Who knows what could happen while we're sleeping. But if all this holds up, I would expect potentially some follow through and some continuation. So just how I wrote, on Tuesday, that Google saved the market, looking like Amazon might have saved it. And personally, I know people look to Apple as the biggest gauge because it has typically the biggest market cap. I like to look at Amazon as kind of more of a macro view, because Apple just sells Apple. You know what I mean? Where Amazon, you're buying things from Amazon and stuff. So to have really strong, I don't know, there's some stuff in the report that probably wasn't too great. Like their growth percentage is normally, I think, at 15 or to 20% year over year, and they're estimating less than that. So we'll have to see how the rest of this year unfolds. But I was kind of shocked that the market kind of shrugged that off. And then you have, like I said, Amazon going up almost $500 on the day, at one point a little higher. So I guess just the overall beat and by the magnitude of it. And I think, granted, that was some paper wins, meaning because of their shares in Rivian. I think they own, 11-12% or something. And obviously Rivian's done fairly well. Granted, lately it's dropped, but I guess just since it's technically public now, and it shows the actual value of how much they own from that pie, it was pretty good. Ford also, now that I'm on that, because Rivian also, Ford has a small stake in it as well. I think they missed, or at least they were down after hours. I don't know how it went after the fact. Let me take a look. I'm curious. It's just how my mind wanders sometimes. So, yeah, they're down. Yeah, just under $1. So not too bad, but I think the expected move was $2. So within its range, and it's already had such a monster move this past, actually since the beginning of this year, but really over the last couple months. I mean, it's had a little bit of a fallback from its highs, but a stock that's $13-12 4 or 5 months ago, going up to almost 26 for a stock like that, that's a pretty massive move. So the fact that it's been down over the last few weeks is really not too surprising. But yeah, like I said, that's just been basically what I've been doing. is the little like, taking a trade like that, whether it be intraday or to hold overnight to see if we see follow through. But perfect example, those Q puts expire tomorrow. And if I was still in them, because like, oh man, yeah, I'm going to hold till tomorrow because Amazon, it's looking like everyone thinks Amazon's going to miss, and everything's going to be bad, and we're going to get double tomorrow, meaning we'll be down another 300-400 points, and those Q puts and stuff. Granted, obviously, if I held throughout the day, I think they went from, I got in at 4, I sold them at 625, and at the lows they were up $9. So who's to say they couldn't have been at 12 or 14 or 15 tomorrow? And then this happens, and then you wake up, and then you're lucky if you even still have a profit. Realistically, you wouldn't, because technically, if you went long or went short over here, well, the following day, and you add in theta decay, if you're no longer in the money, it's you're going to get burned. So I'd rather just take that quick money, and I don't want to necessarily say call it a day, but the less exposure you have in this market right now, I think the better it is. So I'm looking at my ETF screen, just seeing if there's anything to really talk about there. Not really. I mean, it was pretty broad move. I think everything for the most part was dropping. Utilities held on pretty decent most of the day, and then financials has actually been on a nice uptrend over the last like 6-7 trading days, but hit 40 and then kind of fizzled out from there. But energy's been strong. I mean, oil, CL at 90, that's just crazy. The yen's dropping off, so that's pretty good for our equity markets. Crypto seeing a nice little pop, probably following with the tech in general. The dollar, that's the other thing too. I was talking about this in the room. Like, I don't know if this chart's really going to do it justice. Like, let me go back to over here. Like, you just see that it's a gradual move. I mean, obviously we were downtrending. We got below 90 and stuff, but best way is just look at the size of those candles. And then you look at the last, like, so far this year, it's just crazy. The moves the dollar's taken. I mean, from 97 to 95. I mean, it's just such a crazy move. And it's not just these types of things. It's not just commodities. It's the entire market. It's just like, I don't know, it's like being on a boat, and it's very rough seas right now. Or you think everything's leaning one way, that you're gonna fall off, and then before you know, you're on the other side of the boat. So pretty violent market both ways. Like I said, you can see that NQ already up 2% after hours here, which is crazy. So tomorrow being Friday, I'm very curious to see how we'll unfold. I'm probably going to sit on my hands most of it, unless there's some more early signs of some follow through, because who's to say the ES doesn't undo everything it did today on that drop, because at one point at the lows the ES was down over 100 and something points. So maybe you add another 50 to what we're at right now, and we actually end up finishing up the week pretty decently. So it's just kind of hurry up and wait and just see what the market wants to do. But in the meantime, I can't stress it, you're either an investor looking at some of these stocks. I mean, PayPal down 60-70%. You got Roblox has been completely destroyed. I mean, you got some really good names that were some favorites not even 5-6 months ago, just getting completely destroyed. And I think those are going to be, if not right now, because obviously you never want to time the market, but just how I look at things, if something's a good name and nothing's really fundamentally changed with the company, if you can buy stuff 50, 60, 70% off and just hold it, I think that's probably one of the better strategies. Or you did what I did with those Q puts, and you're just in and out, or you're scalping it with futures like I did today, and I know a lot of the people did in the room. So be nimble, or have a long time horizon that you're not really worried about the ebbs and flows of the market over the next couple weeks, because I honestly think the first part of this year is going to be rocky, and then I wouldn't be shocked if we get up to like ES 5000 by the end of the year, but we just kicked this off not even a month ago, so we'll have to see how it unfolds. But anyway, that's basically all I have tonight. As always, check us out at OffTheChartTrading.com. Join our Facebook if you already haven't. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow in the room if you guys are members. And if not, I'll see you guys next Tuesday for the video. Take care, guys. And if I don't see you, have a great weekend.